Public Theater. Next week we're gonna have Frank Hart. He's an actor as well. He's a public public theater member, and he's gonna be our guest next coming Friday. But tonight we're having. This is my second interview. And I'm gonna tell you the story. I was downstairs getting ready for my first interview, and Gloria she said, Sissy, you need to meet this woman. And I said, okay. This is a woman who's been around for a long time. She is now 30. I met her years ago. Her name is Sofia Davis. Mm-hmm. Obviously, shame on me. It's the first time that we come across, the first time that I see you, have the privilege to meet you. But she says, Sissy, you have to interview her. You girls need to talk. This is a woman mm-hmm. who's been kind of like a legend. Everybody knows who you are, every model, right? You said that somebody was doing a taping at M&N tonight, and all the models came to see you. Yes, obviously, yes. They know you. So thank you so much for making the time. This is kind of exciting.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, yes. I mean, back in the day, you guys met, you and Gloria.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. We're going to leave it at that.
Back.
Long
yes,
time ago.
Long time ago.
Once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And tell me about your fashion, because you're an editor-in-chief of Fashion Avenue magazine. Mm-hmm. So let's go back to the beginning, your background, the world of fashion, how everything came together.
Well, I used to do fashion shows on 125th and 7th Avenue in front of the Harlem State Office Building. And one day, Ralph Cooper, who used to be in charge and created Amateur Night at the Apollo Theater, happened to pass by, and he saw me doing a show. So he asked everyone, who's that woman up there? Who's that lady just doing the show? Well, finally someone got to me. He wanted to have a meeting with me. Make a long story short, I went to his office, which was on 125th Street and 5th Avenue. And the next thing I know, we were at the Apollo Theater.
And we were at the
Apollo Theater on the stage opening night. And that's when Apollo reopened, which was 1985. That's when it reopened. And it opened, and they had 3 tables, 5 models, and I was director of models. But when we went the first night, it was just to go, you know, he just asked us, so I didn't know if it was a one-shot deal or what. But I thought it was a one-shot deal. But then at the end of the night, he said, you guys did a good job. I want you to come back next week. I said, next week? He said, yeah. I want you to come back next week and bring the models with you. So I was like, wow, this is great. So I thought, okay, well, we got 2 weeks. 1 week and then next week, and then that was it. That, you know, I thought we would be gone. It lasted 10 years. And it was amazing because after the second night, he said, I want you to keep coming back every Wednesday and bring models and, you know, get some, you know, makeup people and da-da-da-da. And he told me, you know, he brought me to his office. He told me what to do. I got makeup people, designers, I got models, everything. So for 10 years, we were at the Apollo Theater every night, amateur night. We are the models that are sitting in the chairs. There was 3 tables, 5 models apiece, 15 models. We got makeup artists, hairstylists, everything. And from that, someone in the audience saw us, and that's how we got actually to the television program. They had us on as a guest, and I went up there, I saw those cameras, I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, I was into entertainment. I mean, I loved it. So I went out on the break, and I said to the guy, I said, listen, how can I do this? He said, well, all you gotta do is fill out a form. I said, that's it? He said, yeah, fill out a form and bring your tape.
It sounds like a dream, right?
I know, I was like, you're kidding me.
Right.
He was like, no, bring, you know, do that and, you know, bring your tape and you can have a show. Well, I went out and made it, you know, a little quick tape and brought it back. And before I even actually really finished the tape, he had given me a time slot. So I actually got the time slot before I had even done a show. So that meant I had to really hurry up because we were getting ready to go on Thursday night, 8 o'clock, Thursday night.
Yes.
Thursday night, 8 o'clock. So I got it together. At that time, I had a friend that had a camera. He said he'll be my camera person. He'll do the editing, da-da-da-da-da.
Lucky you.
Oh, that was luck because, you know, at that time, there was no M&M. There was no place to edit. There was no somebody help me. It was like you had to help yourself. Because if you were going to do this, you had to help yourself. Now, you could get it edited, but it would cost so much money that you couldn't afford it. I mean, we were, you know, you can't make any money off public access. So we couldn't charge anybody anything. So we had to, everything we did had to come out of our pocket. To make a long story short, you know, he helped me. He said, we're going to do this. He said, now, I don't care what happens, you just keep going. And I was always one that, the show must go on. Well, we went at this place called the Celebrity Club. Of course, it's not there now. So it was many years ago. We had
The Celebrity
Grandmaster
Club.
Flash, and we had Orange Juice Jones, and Allison Williams. And those were the people we were going to interview that night at the Celebrity Club. They were big stars then, and they're still, Allison Williams, of course, is still doing things in Grandmaster Flash. People know him. And I was interviewing Orange Juice Jones about his new record, In the Rain. And he spilled a bottle of Dom Perignon in my lap. A bottle. He just knocked it off the table, and it fell upside down in my lap whilst I was sitting in a chair.
Doing it.
And all I could do, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He picked the bottle up, he put it back on the table. Of course, he was intoxicated because he was celebrating, his record, and I get it. But I'm sitting in champagne that I could have been drinking.
Right.
Okay.
That's besides the point.
The show must go on. So I had to keep interviewing with the wet champagne, It was like you had to keep going. And so we kept going. And that was the beginning of my love for television. And then, slowly but surely, I went down to, 23rd Street, met Gloria, Oliver Richardson, Winnie. We were all the super crew. We did everything.
The super crew. You call it the super crew?
We were the super crew.
Oh, wow.
We were the super crew.
Gloria was as she is now? The same way?
She's amazing now. You should have seen her then.
Really?
She could do everything and still can.
Yeah, she still can.
And that's the thing. I learned a lot from Gloria.
Everybody learns a lot from Gloria.
She took you by the hand. She never lost patience with you if you didn't know what you were doing.
And she was so willing to teach.
She's willing to teach. She's willing to give her knowledge away. She doesn't charge you a dime. She's just a lovely person.
Yes.
And the beauty of it is, they took you in like family. Back then it was like family. It was not, I'm just back now, so I don't know exactly how it is now. But back then it was family. You went in when you got off work and you went and you cruised for somebody. You went to M&N and you were like, I'm here, who needs help? You didn't care whose show it was.
Right.
You didn't care as long as it was, it was no certification back then, so you didn't have to be certified. You just went in, and if you knew how to work the camera, if you knew how to switch, if you knew how to do audio, you knew how to set cameras up, all that. We had no RoboCam, so we had to do all of our focusing, our critical focus, our white balance. We did all of that, and that's why I'm saying we learned how to do things.
Right.
Now, computers do the white balance, and they do, a lot of stuff. You have RoboCams and things like that. But we had none of that. We had to learn it. You had to know it up here in order to be in a television studio, not just something that was on paper that somebody just say, oh, give me this shot, give me that shot, and the RoboCams do all the work. You had to know how to get those shots when that camera was moving, and when he said a slow zoom, you had to know how to do a slow zoom. You didn't have a RoboCam to do a slow zoom where you put in a number and it goes at 9 seconds. You had to know how to do a slow zoom, and you could not mess it up because then you had to find a place to edit because we didn't have editing suites. Like you guys have all this stuff now. We didn't have this.
Yeah.
This is
a luxury, right? When you really think about it, look at the setting, look at the studio.
This is beautiful. It's
an open studio. We have a wide screening. Thank you, darling, for shutting the door. Sometimes when people leave the show open, it's hard because you get all the sound. But this is a big studio. It's 4 cameras right here. I think we're using only 3. No, in fact, we're using 4 cameras now. But the amount of work is still, we had to learn the basics. We had to learn to be certified with the camera equipment, get certified with the Final Cut. Now we're learning a different program, and then you have to, times are changing fast.
And I think that's wonderful because see, one of the reasons I came back and got recertified was because I learned many years ago.
Right.
My undergraduate is fashion design. My master's is communication. So yeah, you learn, but then things change. And one of the things that's important for people to understand is you have to change with the time. You cannot let time pass you. That's how you get old.
Right.
You may be old in age, like your age may be one thing, but you can have a young spirit because you keep up with what's happening. And all these new things that are coming up, you want to know about it. You want to know, so this way you keep yourself young. So this is one of the reasons why I come back to the studio. I learn things. I want to crew for people. I want to get involved with shows and things like that. So all of that is really how I got into television. And then I continued because I was in fashion, not per se television. Television was a part of what I did to get the word out. But my whole love is fashion. I've loved fashion since I can remember. And, you know, they used to have a show, and I'm sure it's, you know, it's no more now, I'm sure. But they had a show with the Black Museum, the Black Fashion Museum on 126th Street. And Lois Alexander used to be the head of that. And what happened is she had this big show in the street, like outside. It was amazing with a runway and everything.
In the streets?
In 126. Right behind the State Building. And what happened, I entered into that show, and I had no training as far as fashion design. I hadn't gone to school yet. And I won evening wear designer for that show. And then I went to FIT. So I had the talent, like I had that creativity in me.
Yeah, you get the eye.
I had that, and I, you know, fashion is what I wanted to do. Went to FIT, got a degree in fashion design, did some work there, but also I was always into helping people. So I used to have models. And, you know, I had a modeling agency, licensed modeling agency for many years. That's one of the ways I made my living. I used to book models all the time. And then I had a model come to me. And she said to me, you know, she wanted to get out there. You know, she was looking to go to agencies and everything. And she had went to an agency, and the girl just really crushed her spirits. I won't say on television what the lady said to her.
I hate when people do that.
But she was a young girl, and she crushed her dream. She really, really made her feel like nothing.
Right.
And she came to my office. She was hysterical, crying. And she said to me, you know, I don't understand. I'm doing everything right, but there's no place for me. Now, for me, I'm not a person that takes no for an answer. I never have been. I'm overconfident. I've always been that type of person. So instead of getting angry, okay, because you can get angry and you can march and protest and have signs, but really, you're just, you know, what are you doing? You're not really, what kind of difference are you making? I believe in making a difference. So what I did is I created Fashion Avenue News magazine.
With this beautiful model who we have in the studio.
Yes,
right
we have
now.
this gorgeous cover girl.
Gorgeous.
In the studio. She is absolutely adorable. And she is also not just adorable to look at, but she also is adorable inside. She has a beautiful personality, which is one of the reasons why, you know, what I look for in models when they are on my cover. But I created Fashion Avenue News to give them a place to go. Models a place, you know, to have a place where you go to all these other places, they turn you down. Here is a high-end, luxury, international magazine that's beautiful. The fabric,
can I take a look?
Certainly. The fabric is beautiful. Internally, it's beautiful.
She's beautiful. Look at those lips.
She is absolutely gorgeous. She has the
Not
perfect...
even Angelina Jolie, man. I'm just letting you know. Your hands are full. Look at. Can we do a little?
Zoom
can
in
we try
there.
to zoom in, Gloria, with your masterful hand? Let's try to not think about anxiety for a moment. I'm gonna block my face. That's easy.
And
we just zoom in slowly but surely.
And
There
the
it
beauty
is.
of it with this young lady is that she literally took that show, took that shot. That shot was taken while she was walking in a fashion show. That's not a set-up shot. So that shows you that this is a model that knows what she is doing. She knows how to walk. She knows how to strike that pose right on the right mark. And the photographer got a shot so clear that I could put on the cover of a magazine. And she's beautiful inside and outside. She has the perfect square face. She has the dimples in the right place.
Look at this. But look
She's
at the
gorgeous.
lips.
Yeah, she's
Are you
absolutely
kidding
gorgeous.
me? You know how much money people pay for those lips?
She's gorgeous.
Right?
And she knows how to walk. You can see how beautiful, you know, her poses are in the magazine as well.
Are we saying her name or are we missing
yes,
it?
her name is Princess.
Princess.
And she's actually a beautiful African princess. Her father is a king, so she is a real princess. She is not walking around saying princess, just so people get the fact that she is royalty. She is royalty. She's real royalty. So, you know, sometimes people walk around and say princess, but no, she is a princess for real. So, and that's important because, you know, people have a lot of nicknames, but that's not a nickname.
That's the truth.
No, it's the truth. She's got royal blood.
Look at
so
this
I'm
picture.
proud to have
Look
her.
at this
She's gorgeous.
picture. I don't know. I know we can do this in even post-production, Gloria, but I like this picture a lot. I do. It's very
And
groovy.
I like to say that she's wearing Kenya Smith Motorsport Planet Zero in that picture at Fashion on the Hudson. And Kenya Smith is one of the designers that won the $5,000 Fashion and Beauty Olympics. It's a $5,000 cash prize that we sponsor every year for models and designers. It's a $10,000 weekend, and one model gets $5,000, and one designer gets $5,000 cash. Not cash and prizes, like a lot of people have all of these so-called shows that give you $5,000 or $10,000. They give you $50, and then they give you the rest in prizes. No, you get $5,000 in cash. Kenya Smith of Planet Zero Motorsport got 5 $1,000 money orders. So these are the type of things that we do. So we develop Fashion Avenue News to give emerging models and established models as well a place. If you're interested in being a model and people are turning you down, you don't know where to go,
Yeah,
you
I
can
hate
come right
that.
to us.
What do you think? I mean, honestly, how does it work? Is the world, remember that famous movie, The Devil Wears Prada?
Oh,
I mean,
yes, The Devil Wears
Please
Prada.
tell me, give me the insight, because you're the one, because you kind of like wonder about fashion and expectations and why women have to lose so much weight and why, I mean, there's so much pressure about beauty.
Well, I
mean,
think
how
that the
does it
world is
work?
changing. The world is changing.
Right.
You know, that was the extreme, The Devil Wears Prada. It might have been a little bit like that, and I'm sure that there are places that are like that. But, you know, the world is changing. Every single day it's a change. Right now they have plus-size models at Fashion Week. They never had that before.
Right.
So now what's happening is people realize that, you know what, this is, I mean, these people are here. I mean, people are plus size.
Right.
And you know what? They want to look good too. And if you want to continue for your brand to grow, you have to make things in their size, or else you're just going to have a small group of people that can wear your clothes. And that's not, you know, it makes no sense when you have other people that make money like the smaller people or even more, and that can afford your clothes. So designers, PR firms, marketing people are getting smart. They realize that they have to reach out to quite a few people for the brand to continue to grow. You can't stay in a little socket and expect to grow. You cannot. So now they have plus-size models. I think that
as it should be. It's reality. It's the world.
Yes, they have short models. You know, models that are not 5'9". They have shorter models. You know, a lot of people get mad because they say, "Well, I'm short, but I'm really good and this and that." It's not that you're not good. They have models a certain height, and I like to explain this for the people that don't know. The reason why they ask models to be 5'9" to 5'11 and a half is because, and one size, is because if, say, you're doing a show and you got 30 garments and one model doesn't show up or two, any model can fit that. But if you have somebody that's 5'4" and then you got somebody that's 5'9" and you got dressed with someone that's 5'9", the 5'4" person can't wear it. That is why.
That's the reason why.
They may have the models a certain height and weight. It is not that they're discriminating. That's not the point.
Right.
And that's important because a lot of people think it's discrimination. And it really isn't. It's just that they want it uniform so that anybody can just pop into the dress, because you don't know, you know, models run into different things, problems that they can't make it or they get